not wrong. I wish I caught that on recording, but you're right. Everyone is blessed to understand the deliciousness that is White Monster.
Over that span of existence to be in the same stretch as White Monster.
You know what's really weird? I
think
typically don't like cherry flavors, and then I found I like White Monster, and I found out it's cherry flavor, and I'm like, I'll be damned.
People don't realize it's like that white cherry flavor. It's almost like those old white cherry Gatorades that everybody hated, but somehow we all love this. And you know what else we love? That the end times are nigh, or so they say. But today, tonight, the Empire endures. Welcome to the Grimdark Chronicles Season 1, where we play through the vaunted historical campaign known as The Enemy Within. I am your GM, Brad, joined tonight by Kyle playing Segemund, Eric playing I Want the Gold, also known as Wolfhart, Alex playing Luca, and Mike playing Kroppa. This entire season wouldn't be possible without each and every one of you, but also the gentlemen over at Dark Forge Media, who created the really cool intro video right before this, and are our show sponsor for the entire season, and probably beyond, of the Grimdark Chronicles.
Badass.
It's such a good video. I've watched it so
Give them
many
a
times.
click.
You should give them a click. Link is down below. But on that note, let's just jump right into this. I know you guys want to play. I want to play. So let's talk about this. Last time in the Empire, you all found yourselves making your way down that muddy, muddy road to a coaching inn. And you had, over the course of the night, been negotiating to try to get a cheaper fare than 4 silver per person to ride on top of a coach to the Seven Spokes, which is the next inn that you're heading to. And so as you were talking with these two individuals, Gunnar and Holtz, at the Coach and Horses, you did manage to get the payment agreed upon. 2 silver per person. 1 now, and 1 when you reach the Inn of the Seven Spokes, the next place you're heading. However, as all of this was happening, you also were trying to investigate the people in the room around you, specifically one scholarly-looking gentleman, a slightly younger-looking man named Ernst Heidelman, who was reading a book that captured all of you with its fascination. And as I believe it was Segemund finally got a chance to look over his shoulder and start reading it, it definitively was not what he said it was, which was a treatise on, leeches and their uses. Instead, it was something about demons. So, Segemund, you gained some knowledge on demons, but then the crow Blackie, the pet of the landlord, started speaking in a tongue you don't understand, and smoke whirled from the book. As it did, you threw the book in the fire, but to no avail. A demon popped out from the book, and lunging, thankfully, didn't attack any of you, but did manage to latch on to that rogue Bretonian, biting Philippe right in the leg, ripping out huge chunks of flesh with his claws and teeth, as Wolfhart and Kroppa were busy trying to stun and subdue Ernst. As we pick up tonight, you all had managed to gain, what did we get? 35 experience to everyone. Wolfhart and Kroppa, you got an additional 10 experience for negotiating the sale of your fare, and Luca and Segemund, you got an additional 10 experience for immediately engaging with the whole situation, Ernst and the demon. So all of you walked away with 45 experience at the end of last session. So as we pick up today on episode 4, Ernst is currently unconscious, basically, in the corner, trying to have rushed to the door and being stopped. The demon is handled, and you are all in the main room of the Coach and Horses. The Lady Isolde, her bodyguard, and her maid have made their way upstairs. And the evening, as late as it is, the clock is not... Don't even get at me, Alex, we're getting there. The clock is now correct. It is a nice resounding 9:30 in the evening, getting later. And it's all yours, gents.
So, are you calling knowledge of demons and corruption points? Is that interchangeable at this point?
No. So corruption points are something physical that you are garnering, but because you did manage to read a little bit of that book over his shoulder, you had gained the ability to understand a little bit of demonology. Specifically, you now know the information on, I believe I said it was like pages 300 and 360 to 361.
335, 336.
I was just looking for that in the book. So yeah, 335 to 336. You now have base knowledge of daemons.
Sick.
Pretty cool, man.
That's pretty cool. So, gentlemen, the bar is calming down. The black powder smoke from the lucky blunderbuss of Gustav has dissipated, and people have begun to calm down. And you hear Gustav kind of go, all right, everybody settle down. Who the hell? What the hell's going on here? Where did this come from?
Well, do you have a basement, a cellar?
No cellar here at the Coach and Horses. We have a storeroom. Why?
Well, I just
What's
want
that
to
man
get.
doing?
I just want to get this refuse that trashed your establishment out of your main hall here.
He looks over at Ernst in the corner. He goes, "What exactly happened?"
Well, I believe this man diddled a demon, and I want to bring him out of the room and into a quiet space that we can wake him up and start asking him questions.
Who went outside with me?
You rushed out, and the two
No. I was outside too. Wasn't
Yeah,
I?
Kroppa was outside.
Oh yeah, Kroppa went
Yeah.
outside too. Yeah.
Somebody went outside before me. So
Yeah, that's right. So okay, so
the
I'm
first
outside
thing I do
at
is
the moment.
cowardly peek back inside.
you cowardly peek back inside. You can step inside, seeing the demon's body, with it being defeated, is literally just evaporating into almost like pink flakes of ash that are just rising up into the sky. Kroppa, you can see that it's gone, and your fear would abate, so you could walk in and say that. Gustav looks to you all, and he goes, "Well, let's take the snug." And he kind of walks over to the corner of the bar where there's what's called a snug. It's just a private room. And he kind of swings the door open and goes, "We can keep him in here." And he starts rummaging around, grabbing a little bit extra rope from behind from what probably was tying crates together. And he grabs a really dirty dish rag and kind of, as you guys are bringing Ernst over, shoves it into his mouth. You may use this for as long as needed.
Ernst a little kick as we're tying him up, and
You give Ernst a little kick, okay?
Yeah.
All right.
making sure he's really knocked out.
He's currently KO'd, yeah. So you managed to kind of get him back into the snug, and he's not knocked out in the sense of like dying, because you did beat him up pretty good, but you didn't get him to 0 based on my notes, unless I didn't write something down. But he would have essentially, as the demon summoned, he had basically fainted. So you guys have him back there. Wolfhart, your kick does not rouse him. And inside the snug is like I figured. Inside the snug is like a small cushioned bench and a small table. Dim lighting. It's meant for people to have the ability to have private conversations. Gustav looks to you all and goes, We won't charge for this one, but I'll make sure we alert the road wardens to him in the morning."
Could we have some food, please?
More food? Yeah, yes, of course. I'll get another bowl of stew. For you?
So gracious. Thank you.
Sure. He goes bustling off to grab
Wolfhart
you.
just starts laughing.
He goes off to grab you a bowl of stew, Kroppa.
Worked up an appetite.
Yeah, I moved a zone.
That's
He moved it all.
Kroppa's actual trait. When you move a zone, you need to eat a calorie.
Wait, what's the how's the noble and her crew reacting to the situation that just happened?
They booked upstairs as the combat was ensuing, as the demon jumped onto the Bretonian. They had been backing up the stairs with their bodyguard in front of them, like
Of
kind of
course, they
rushing
didn't
away.
want to stay down here and help the common man.
No. In fact, actually, Maria, the bodyguard, had basically, at the end of last session during the round, said, yeah, ladies, go upstairs. I'll protect you, and just backed her way up the steps, not helping you at all.
Which I guess at that seeing that they're gone now, Wolfhart's actually going to start walking upstairs to go try to find her,
Okay.
because he wants to inform the lady that it has been dealt with, and then he's going to want to look for a handout
Okay. Wolfhart,
or saving
Oh,
her.
yeah.
you make your way up the stairs. Philippe is still just kind of like, oh, my leg, it hurts so bad, on the ground as he's being bandaged up. But you make your way upstairs, Wolfhart. Knowing where her room is, you can easily kind of wander your way around as if you're looking for her. And as you turn into that main hallway with the bedrooms, you see that the bodyguard Maria is kind of standing there all imposing in front of that door, hand on her weapon, just mean mugging everything.
That's fine. I'm still going to walk up to her, kind of give her a polite bow. Like, oh, it's going to look... Anyone who knows Wolfhart's going to know this is obnoxiously over the top. He's going to do like a deep bow and say, I would like to inform you and my lady that the demon has been taken care of. And then he's just going to sit there kind of like with his hand out.
You see as Marie kind of looks to you and just... She's tall. She's a Midlandlander, so she is rather tall, athletic, muscular, has dark blonde hair and bright blue eyes in just like leathers down one arm. And she carries both a sword and you notice Wolfhart on her offhand, like on her left hand. She's got a pair of brass knuckles sitting on her hand already. And she just goes, I will let my lady know. And her voice is weirdly deep. I will let my lady know. And she looks to your hand and just goes, gives you that look, opens the door behind her and says, Lady is old. Yes. This man says that the threat is dealt with. Oh, good. Excellent. Excellent. That is all. He may go. He has his hand out. Oh, fine. Give him a silver. Yes, lady. She pulls a silver and puts it in your hand and says, Thank you for the news. You may go.
Thank you, my dear. And he does another bow as he backs away. And
as you bow him back away, you kind of just hear like an under the breath kind of chuff. And as you're kind of walking, she doesn't make it quiet. Then Marie goes, You know, lady, if you give everyone who brings you a piece of news a silver, eventually you will run out of money.
It wasn't just news.
Say, Wolfhart did kill it.
Kroppa, your bowl of stew has arrived.
Wolfhart's going to be flipping the coin to himself as he's walking back down the stairs.
Okay, so Wolfhart, as you're walking down the stairs flipping your coin, you're watching as Gustav is walking into the snug with a big bowl of stew and a whole loaf of brown bread.
He chuckles to himself, laughs, and just sits down and still playing with that coin you got.
Okay. Kroppa, you have a bowl of stew and a whole loaf of bread.
Do you have some water, please? A lot of water.
Is this for drinking or dunking?
I am parched. Did you not see what our party went through?
Just asking. The drinking water is in limited supply, so if it's to pour over one's head, there's a horse trough out back that is full of,
Good heavens!
All right. He goes,
You accuse Kroppa of torture?
No. Just if you wanted to wake him up.
Yeah, that's right.
Like a horse. Nay, like a horse. He walks out to go get you a flagon of water. He comes back a few minutes later.
Barbarism.
He comes back a few minutes later with said flagon of water.
So Wolfhart's immediately going to ask, so are you going to go dump this guy in the trough?
Kroppa is going to
It
eat.
would loosen his lips a bit if we did.
Once he is awake by whatever means, then we can ask him questions.
Is there an empty carafe or bucket anywhere I can see?
Wait, hold up. Did Kroppa just get a full meal and a flagon of water to sit here and watch this guy until he wakes up?
Yes.
All right.
Dinner and a show.
Segemund, in the snug, no. But if you were to walk out, it's an inn. There's going to be a bucket behind the bar. There's a way to ask for one. Or again,
I'll fetch a container and a bucket or containers worth of trough water.
So as you walk out, you kind of get a bucket, and Gustav chats with you. He goes, I think I know what you're about to do, and please, for the love of Sigmar, do not pour filthy horse trough water all over my snug. Those cushions are not easy to clean. Just take him out back if you need to, and the yard is currently empty. It is yours.
I want to look back at the group and be like, do we want to drag him outside just to drag him back in?
I think we should respect his establishment and take him outside.
Wolfhart's just going to start rolling him and not even drag him.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll grab him by the feet, and as he falls off, do not protect his head as it thumps on the floor.
We'll drag him out.
Okay, so you drag him outside. My dogs are being paid actors, apparently. You drag him outside, and you roll him back into the yard where there's a horse.
Your dogs don't like this guy either.
They don't. They really don't. Murphy's just like, screw this guy. So you roll him out into the backyard, drag him into the mud and muck. The yard is clean-ish, but he gets a little bit of dirt, mud, and manure on him, and you end up in the horse trough. I'm not even going to make y'all roll for this. It's easy to just plunge his head a couple times if you so choose. Okay.
I so choose.
So him having fainted, he is not unconscious from a loss of wounds. He did just kind of faint from it. He is down a bit. I think at the last he was down to like 2 wounds left, based on my notes. Yes, sir.
Is anyone gonna fuck with the bird?
Is anyone gonna fuck with the bird?
That is a good question.
Kroppa is relatively gravity disadvantaged when it comes to.
I'm curious
also
as to why the bird can read. Personally,
Would Wolfhart and Kroppa even know about the bird? Because we weren't sitting there.
That's
Right.
a good question. So, Kroppa, Wolfhart, probably not. Luca, probably. Segemund, definitely.
Yeah, I suppose while they're trying to rouse our friend, I'll go back into the inn and see. What was the bird's name again?
Blackie.
Blackie. Try and find Blackie.
Okay, so let's start with Blackie. So Segemund, as you guys kind of roll him out, you go and you notice that Blackie is back on his normal perch. He's on the beam directly above the bar, just kind of hopping above Gustav, parroting what Gustav says little by little in kind of reverse words. You hear Gustav say, "Oh yes, another ale," and you're ale another, yes. But he hasn't left the establishment.
Okay, is there like a hunk of bread anywhere that I could just nab quick?
Kroppa has a whole loaf of it.
Okay. I'm going to see if he's willing. I don't think he's willing to part with any of his meal. I'll see if I can find a separate.
The crust? Absolutely, you can have the
I'll
crust.
take the crust.
You take the bread butts. Okay.
Yeah.
Kroppa does not eat crust.
Let's see if I can bait Blackie to come down and, take a snack while I investigate him, so to speak.
Okay. So what I need you to do is, do you have any levels of animal care or animal training?
Let's look. It does not look as though I do.
Okay, then here's what I want you to do. I would like you to make me just a base level charm animal test. It's a basic skill, runs off your willpower. So if you have no advances in it, you'll use your willpower bonus.
Yep.
But I want you to make me a charm animal test, and that's going to be at a hard -20, and he will oppose it.
Okay. It's going to be a -1 success level.
Okay, well, let's see what happens here. Okay, well, your -1 is going to be significantly better than his -6.
Sick.
So he kind of looks to you and he goes, and he doesn't look like he wants to fly down, and you do a little coaxing motion and flutters down and lands on the bar next to you and kind of just
food overrides logic every time.
Absolutely. Starts pecking at the bread a little bit. Segemund, what I'd like you to do is give me an intuition check, please. And this, because you got him to come down, this will be at an easy +40.
+1.
+1. Blackie has 3 eyes. He has the standard bird's eyes. But as he pecks at the bread, a third eye in the center of his forehead seems to be visible. It is not a standard bird eye. You know, ravens and crows have that kind of that dark eye. This is like an ice blue with a black pupil. And as he's pecking at the bread, the third eye kind of grows large. And you watch as outside of the bird who is looking at the bread, the eye snaps up to you. I need you to make a willpower test, please.
Of course.
Oh boy.
Cool. Challenging +0.
-2.
-2. Okay. Would you like to use any fortune before I tell you what happens?
That reset after last session, correct?
It'll reset at the end of this, every 4.
I have no fortune left.
You have no fortune yet. Okay. Would you like to use any resolve before I tell you what happens next?
I feel like I'm going to.
Let me tell you what
Yes.
happens, and you can tell me if you want to use a resolve point.
No, don't. I'm burning it, and I'm going to reroll it.
You're burning. Wait, you're burning
resolve.
what?
Or no, I'm burning resolve.
You don't burn resolve.
Using
You're using resolve to reroll.
Yes.
Okay.
We're kind of off to a hot start here, Brad. A
Listen,
demon
it's
and a fucking mutated
It's the
bird.
dice. Did you say that? What did you say that
Immediately.
test was at? Easy?
It's just a challenging +0.
Challenging? Okay. It's flat.
Ooh.
0.
Hell yeah.
Flat
you go.
0 with a +0. Okay. So with a +0. Wait, you spent resolve? You don't re-roll for spending resolve. Resolve lets you become immune to psychology, ignore all
Okay,
modifiers.
I will use my resolve to become immune to any psychological attack the bird may make at me.
Okay, good. So then you are still, because you failed, you're not going to gain the psychological issues, but you will gain another point of corruption.
Sick.
However, you are not terrified. So as you ignore the fear condition from that, as he stares at you, that eye snaps up, realizes that you're not running away, and snaps shut, the feathers falling back into place where it had been. And the bird just continues to eat the bread.
Yeah. Do I recall, I probably didn't get that close of a look at him, but was that eye there before it looked at the book?
Unfortunately, no one took the chance to really check out the bird close enough to know.
Figured. Okay.
Didn't Luca look at it pretty close?
I gave an offering, the bird accepted it and took it back, but I was never like
Investigating.
right up next to the bird.
I thought you were
really.
telling it a story at one point.
Yeah,
You were-
I
will
did
say-
interact with it quite a bit.
Wolfhart has
But-
a point. So, Luca, if you're with Segemund, and if you two talk about this, we can elucidate a bit more. But
Decide
right now,
whether I saw
Right
or
now, I'm
not.
pretty sure Luca's out back holding on to.
I am not in the
Yeah.
I'm not
So-
in the scene.
So, Segemund, hold on to that piece of knowledge, and you can do what you want with. Is there anything else you want to do with the bird at this time before we jump to the horse trough?
No, thoroughly freaked out at the fact that happened and not afraid of it or suffering psychological. I'm still just going to part ways and head back out to see what they're up to
Okay.
with Ernst.
You head out to see what they're up to. Gentlemen, the three of you have Ernst. Horse trough. One plunge. Doesn't seem to wake him up. Second plunge. Hair dripping wet. Oh God.
I'm holding a
Hello.
knife to his throat.
And he looks down, like he's looking down, and it sort of goes,
Good
hello.
morning, Master Ernst.
Not master. Definitely not master.
Well, sure.
And
I'm gonna
also,
put my nose right up to his nose and look at him like through the top of my brow.
okay.
It appears as though.
Oh, whoops, wrong voice.
It seems as though maybe you made a miscalculation here today.
And I'm just gonna stare at him.
And as all this posturing is going on, I'm going to slurp my stew.
Just holding them. Just okay. So with the sounds of slurping, Luca, as you say that, Ernst just continues to look down at the knife and just goes, I'm not exactly sure what you all think that was, but that wasn't me, and we should all be very. Is it dead? It's dead. It has to be dead. We're outside. Nothing's
Yes,
burning.
what dead? What are you talking about?
You know what I'm talking about.
No, I want to hear from your mouth. What is it you think we are talking about?
I would assume it was a demon.
A demon?
I would assume, perhaps.
And you would assume this based on what? Considering you had nothing to do with it.
At this point, there is no use in my life of lying, but obviously that book was not about medicine.
I think that's obvious enough.
Correct. By the way, did the book get destroyed? I surely hope it did at this point. I'm going to take that as a yes. Okay, excellent. So here's, and he like puts his hands in front of the knife and that's at his throat. And he's just like, so here's the situation.
I poke his finger and just nudge it out of the way.
Fuck. Okay,
And I'm
all
like-
right. I am studying at the University of Altdorf. I did find a tome on demons, and I did read it. But I didn't read it aloud because that would have done exactly what just happened. By the way, which one of you idiots read the book? He looks to you, he's kind of like trying to look around without moving so he doesn't cut his own throat. He's like, Where's the one in the frilly? Looks like a lawyer. Where's he?
Yeah, I looked at your book.
Was that you who read it? And he's kind of like looking over his shoulder, trying to figure out where you are.
No, the bird read the book.
And he actually moves and he cuts himself and he suffers a wound. And he can you move?
Stupid.
The knife.
All he does is turn it so the flat part is up against his throat.
Good enough. If the bird read the book, we have a bigger problem than me. I am a lowly apprentice at the school. That would mean major chaotic power. Is the bird dead?
No.
Is it hard to distract us from you?
It has 3 eyes.
What?
There's a third eye.
Oh, jeez. Oh, Sigmar. Not oh, jeez. Oh, Sigmar.
You're talking to my friends. You're talking to my friends all wrong here.
I don't
Is
understand.
it the wrong tone?
No, we're not going that. Damn it. Fuck you, Alex.
I thought you were going there.
Talking to my guys all wrong.
As soon as he did that, like, God damn
I'm
it.
sorry. I didn't know what I was supposed to say.
No, but you ran into my friend Wolfhart here. What's that about?
And he's like, yeah, I'm pretty sure he tackled me as I was trying to run away.
No, I distinctly saw you run into him and then crumple against his absolute girth.
Girth.
He kind of like, he looks, Wolfhart, are you off to his left or his right?
I'm behind him, like, I guess one right arm around his like
Okay.
shoulder, neck, and then I'm off to his left, I guess.
So you're holding him like this, and he kind of like looks to you, and he goes, with the flat against his neck, he goes, I'm so sorry if this is offensive, but you are a very fit individual. You are not one of girth.
I would not describe myself as girthy.
Well, the way you ran into him and then suddenly crumpled into unconsciousness, I only assume.
I'm pretty sure, and he like, as he says this, he goes, I'm pretty sure he stabbed me. Yep, he stabbed me.
Quit moving or I'll do it again. At that, also, Wolfhart's going to start going through his pouch, like start grabbing his pouches or like pockets.
Okay, you had already stolen his entire bag at one point after kicking it.
Yeah,
right?
I'm checking the rest of him.
Okay.
I'm pretty much right in this guy's face. Do I get the sense that he's being pretty genuine with his concern over the book, or
there is?
Obviously,
I
he's
didn't realize
not
you were right in
happy
front
that
of
a
him.
demon. Well, yeah, I was pretty close to his face.
Yeah, he got right in front of his face.
The way you guys explained it, I assumed all 4 of you were behind him, and he's still like kneeled over a water trough. And
Oh
he's
no,
just
no!
looking
I got
at your
in.
reflections.
I got
Okay.
in his face,
No,
looking
you're
at it
there.
through my
Picked him up
brow.
and turned him around so that he could talk to the rest of the group.
Okay, that makes
I'm
more
the
sense.
one that's backed off.
You're just behind him slurping soup.
I'm eating. Yeah.
I'm being intent. I'm being very, very cringily in his. Yeah.
Okay, nose to nose. He has. You don't even have to roll for this. He has all. If you'd like to roll to try to see more, you can. But I'll tell you what you can tell right now. His eyes are wide. His pupils are huge. He looks terrified. You are currently getting no inclination that he's lying. And at the mention of the bird having 3 eyes, his eyes, which were already huge, get even bigger. And he looks borderline horrified.
Okay, spill it, boss. We're scared. You're scared. You read in that book. You obviously know more than us. So lay it on us.
Well, I can't say enough quickly enough, but what I can tell you is that if a bird has 3 eyes and it is a raven, it is normally a symbol of a chaos god. Or a servant of that god. And that's not good. So, I would probably go try to kill that bird. Like, immediately.
Brad,
And why are we going to listen to this guy?
Because I'm the only
Wolfhart
one
says
of
that
the
outside.
5 of us who knows anything about this topic,
this
apparently.
seems like
I
a
wasn't
really
asking
good.
you when he slaps him on the face.
Fuck!
Seems like a really good time for me to try to recall whether or not it had 3 eyes.
Great time to recall that. Go ahead and just roll me a quick... It's not a lore test. We'll use lore as the base, so like intelligence, just a memory check. Or if you think
I
that an
roll
awareness
just
check is more
intelligence?
fitting as you were talking to the bird, but the way I'm seeing it is right now we need to lean on your memory.
Seems more
After
like a
he's done
charm
with that, I
check.
got one thing I
Seems
want
more
to try.
charm. It's definitely not charm. But I will say that since you did speak to the bird and tell it a story and give it an offering, which obviously went to Gustav. We'll make it an average plus 20 check.
That's still even at a plus 20, 94 over 51. So,
any chance you'd like to use a fortune point? Because again, they are resetting soon.
Yeah, I guess.
Okay, use a fortune point.
Actually,
roll it.
I did the wrong thing.
You did an initiative test, so either way.
I did initiative, but my intelligence is even lower.
That was to keep the 94 in check. Okay, so then use a fortune point and re-roll it against your intelligence, which is INT.
I don't know if I want to.
If you don't want to, don't.
Oh, okay. 23 under 27.
You did.
Apparently
I guess I wanted to do
Apparently you did. With that roll, you do remember that you never saw it have a third eye per se. However, there were a few moments while you were telling it a story where the feathers on its forehead just seemed to like move weirdly. And you assumed maybe it was a figment of your imagination. But they did seem to like, at times you'd look at its forehead and the feathers were almost moving even if the bird was sitting still.
I think most things are a figment of his imagination.
Maybe.
So
Where was the eye on the bird?
right is
Where
right
are
in the middle,
Between the eyes on the forehead.
between the eyes on the forehead. It looked at me. I felt like it touched parts of me inside that I wasn't comfortable with it touching.
I thought there was something strange on his forehead, but I couldn't quite see it.
Yeah, there is something strange. It's an eyeball.
Yes, we know that now. Thank you.
Hey, I want to do a quick check. I've got lore theology as an advanced skill. I want to see if, because Ernst said, hey, we should kill it because it's a messenger or whatever of a chaos god.
Sure.
I want to see if I can recall if because typically in my mind, if I kill a servant of a god, it's going to be like a flare going off.
Okay. Since you have lore theology, I will let you check this. However, I want to make it clear that you're trying to think about something that is blatantly forbidden knowledge, like the witch hunters and the Inquisitors 40k. Witch hunters will burn anyone at the stake if they know they're doing this. So, it's going to be very hard, negative 30.
Okay. 30. That's -4.
And I know you don't have any fortune. So unfortunately, no, you have no recollection of this, which frankly makes sense. There's no way that in any of your theological readings you should have stumbled across anything about the gods
And
of
you
chaos.
gain 4 corruption for having thought of chaos.
Tentacles erupt.
Mutation
However,
1, let's go.
as you're just doing this over, you hear a flutter of wings, and flying out from a window at the bar, you see the bird shooting out the window, and it kind of turns and wheels. And as it wheels above you, you hear it go, and it flies
Fuck
away.
you, Brad.
The bird has
Kazashanek.
Kar-za-chanek. Tchanek.
Shanek. Okay.
Justin's gonna be pissed you besmirched his name like that. Just saying.
I thought that's what I thought when I heard it.
Okay.
And at that, Ernst shakes palpably.
What the hell does that mean?
It's never a good thing when you hear someone speaking in that language. I don't know exactly what it means, but it can't be good.
But you're a student.
Yes.
You have no idea what, and you were reading this book.
I was reading a book in a different language than that. That is...
But you shivered as though you recognized the words.
I recognize the language, not the words themselves. That is a language often used by those who worship the dark gods.
So give me your best leap of logic. What inference, if you will.
I'm not exactly sure what
Try
Karza...
hard, like you're trying to get into university.
I love that a little Dimitri just showed up there. He looks at you and he doesn't really look at you because, again, still knife to his throat, but he just goes, I don't really know what Karza means, but Shanek could be another name for one of the Chaos Gods.
Ooh.
Could be.
I think the obvious question is, where did this book come from? Why do you have it? And why should you not have a knife in your heart for reading it?
It came from a library. I took it to try to learn about demons. And that's a great question that I'm really hoping doesn't come to fruition.
A library feels like an intentionally vague way to answer that question, friend.
Wolfhart's going to say that's complete bullshit, and
Sounds like a
the
lawyer
library's just
statement.
going to have a book like that hanging out.
He kind of laughs at you, Wolfhart. He goes, "You, my friend, do not know what Altdorf hides."
Getting back to the point, though, why shouldn't I plunge this knife into your neck?
I think that is
And heart.
the main question here.
I think the greatest answer to that could only be one thing and one thing only, which is that if you don't hand me over to the Road Wardens, who will in turn hand me over to the Inquisition, or Witch Hunters, excuse me, is wrong segue, Witch Hunters, you could theoretically get caught for murder, because there are still laws within the Empire, even if I was breaking one of them by carrying an illicit tome.
Hey,
You're a demon worshipping scum.
Oh, no,
You
I am.
stumbled upon the bulwark of Wolfhart and were unconscious. Like, you could at any moment
Again,
just
I don't think I
expire.
ran into Wolfhart. I'm pretty sure he
And I
slammed me into a
slurped
wall.
more stew, ignoring his fucking argument.
Yeah, I want to scan the street and see who else is out here.
You are not in a street. You're in the courtyard of the
courtyard.
inn. So the inn is winding down for the evening. The yard is fairly empty.
So is it safe to say it's just us out here?
It's safe to say that if you glance around, it looks like it's just the four of you plus Ernst.
Okay.
Also,
You are
at this point, I'm hoping
mild-tempered for a man
I
who's about to die.
emptied all of his pockets into my pockets.
Yeah.
He didn't have anything in his pockets. Everything was in his bag that you already stole.
So he doesn't have like a knife or anything on him.
He had nothing on him.
So I'm gonna
That's a
What a
let
problem.
loser.
us know that the state you were in when we brought you out here was unconscious. Nobody was really sure if you were alive or not. It wouldn't be a great leap for us to go back inside and be like, "Hey, we tried to rouse him and he just wouldn't wake up." That'd be a
Segemund, what
real
an
shame.
excellent hair to split with
Yeah,
this
it'd be a
individual.
real shame if
No,
you didn't make it back inside.
you
Also-
paint a great picture.
We could just say the demon killed you.
Well, what I would say is, if you take my bag, which I'm assuming you already have, and if you were to say, open up the interior pocket and cut away the interior lining of that pocket, you'd find some tinctures that need to be delivered to Altdorf for a bit of money, which was how I was going to pay my tuition. So you could take those and just hand me over to the Road Wardens.
Sir, why would you want to be handed over to the wardens, who would then hand you to the witch hunters, who would then mercilessly torture and burn your body into a husk?
Because at least I would get a chance for a court to at least explain that while I was reading an illicit tome, I'm not exactly a demon worshiper, nor am I associated with any of those things.
Wolfhart's going to look to the rest of the
Sir,
party and say, so
forgive
he's an
me.
idiot, right?
Sir, forgive me, are you fucking dumb?
The
All of
circle
you-
of worshippers and having that book or Venn diagram, that's a circle, pal.
All of you roll an intuition check.
Yeah.
Just zero.
If I know anything
0.
about the old world, it doesn't matter.
Success but flat. Zero. Plus zero.
Plus
Plus
3.
0. Plus 3.
Minus 3.
What
Minus
do
3.
I intuit, sir?
We'll get to it. Hang on.
+1.
Okay. Luca, Wolfhart, Segemund. This man is absolutely telling you the truth. He is not a worshiper. He does not know anything about this. He was merely reading the book that he knows is illicit, but he was only reading it. Kroppa, having run your own scams, you know one when you see one. He is lying through his fucking teeth.
Sir, these leeks are delicious, but your story, straight ass. Try again.
Perhaps, if he really is this stupid, as stupid as he is pretending to be, or then perhaps we should leave him for them. I'm not a murderer. I don't think you are either.
Question.
No.
Being on the criminal side of the law, would I be at all familiar with how witch hunters typically don't put people on trial? They just burn them.
Witch hunters don't. He's
Don't
hoping-
matter. This guy's an idiot. Clearly.
He's very obviously making a case just to try to end up with the road warden, so he's hoping he can just continue to make his case. A witch hunter, if they've caught this, would have probably burned him at the stake already.
Kroppa has an idea. There are two issues at play. There's the one of his innocence, and there's the one of this man progeniting his seed throughout the realm and propagating this idiocy through the land. Kroppa does not abide. Even if we let him go, he cannot inseminate any lass after this.
Well,
His eyes go even wider.
Yours too.
before we confer as a group to decide your fate, for lack of a better way of putting it, those tinctures, who are they to be delivered to?
Dr. Schmidt, the university.
Schmidt and Althoff.
If we're going to have a powwow about this real quick, I guess my thought process is he's going to die either way, but my only fear is if we turn him over to the road wardens, he's probably going to have some side story about how we read it too, which could also put us on the cutting edge. So I think this guy's probably going to die here real soon.
Wolfhart
Luca.
gives you a little wink.
Luca, have you studied law?
I do not know of law. I do know. Stories from the Empire are quite clear. If you mess with
Impressive.
chaos, you die. It does not matter if you are just wanting to learn about the demon. You will die for having the book.
Hang on. I feel like that's a little
Why
bit
don't you
extreme.
shut the fuck up? We're talking to each other, not to you.
He shuts up.
Add a bitch.
Luca, fantastic point. I'm going to look at the Wolfhart and Kroppa and be like, do we see any reason to let him live past this courtyard?
Good sirs. I'm gonna usher us out of the. Is he bound?
No, Wolfhart's holding him.
Yeah, and Luca's right
Okay.
in front of him too.
Like he's not struggling. He understands fully that like he's not in a good position.
I feel like we can talk
I'm gonna
about him like
give,
he's
like,
not
a-
here. It's fine.
A look to Wolfhart here, like, you good with us conferring and deciding without you? Kind of a look.
Wolfhart's gonna look indifferent and like he doesn't care.
My man. All right. I'm gonna usher these fools out the room.
Okay. You guys, you walk further
hold on,
away in the
hold on.
courtyard than you're already outside.
I have rope.
Sirs,
Find his
you are
hands.
ruining my dinner. And I get you guys out of the room.
We're outside. We're not in a room.
Okay. My dinner is now cold because of this nonsense.
The three of you minus Wolfhart walk further away
Second
from the
dinner,
horse
mind
trough.
you.
As you
What do you
confer.
think, Kroppa?
Yeah, Kroppa does not understand. If we are going to conspire to do a murder, why not just do the murder? All of this yip yap and
I see no reason for him to live. Again, if he goes with the wardens, he may say that we were in on the plot. Of course we were not.
Kroppa's only concern is that his death will negatively impact our relationships with anybody else in the town. If that's not going to happen, then fuck 'em.
I think the fact that they killed the demon is probably going to outweigh this guy's death. Just my opinion.
I agree.
Yeah.
I think him not coming back in is the least of their concerns.
Agreed.
Agreed.
And he was already unconscious. There's no reason to say, hey, we came out here and we couldn't wake him up. This guy's fucked. Oops.
As the three of you have conferred, turn to walk back. Wolfhart holding him. He just starts yelling, "Help! Help! They're gonna kill me!"
At that point, Wolfhart just stabs him.
Okay. He's there, so you're able to literally just basically cut his throat.
I'm not cutting him in the throat. I'm taking it right here in the crook of the neck, stabbing.
Stabbing.
Ooh.
And he just starts going. How many wounds do you do?
All of them?
I guess it depends on success levels, but
Yeah, so roll an attack.
I can't help but feel like we just lost out on some experience by killing this guy, but
Nah.
I think it's got to be done.
Fuck that whole system if that's the case.
Right.
Weapon skills, melee basics. So I have a flat roll, or what is it?
No, you've got him pinned and your knife is to his throat. I'm gonna give you a very easy +6.
Plus 6.
You're
Well,
literally
that's
holding
going to be
him
a
for
plus
coup de
9
grace.
then, so that's going to be damage of 13 wounds.
Cool. Roll me a
As a
D100.
knife to the throat should be.
For real.
100.
Roll me a D100.
17.
Okay. You stab down into his you feel it scrape along his clavicle, and you pull it out, and blood begins to spurt. He's gained a bleeding condition. He suffered with "'tis but a scratch." As he goes down, he's like, "It's only a flesh wound," but he is.
How does
He's
getting all up in a man's vestibular triangle, 'tis but a scratch? Like, the fuck?
You know,
Oh, wait,
least
oh,
it
sorry,
wasn't,
sorry. You
hey,
gotta be
roll
modified
a
by
hit
how over is
location.
it?
Oh, you hit him in
Hang
the
on.
foot.
Hang on.
Stabbing him in the throat.
Hang on. You
He
rolled
did
a
damage
17, but he only had one wound left, so I have to add to that. So
Yeah,
that
however many
becomes-
wounds over the top. I don't know what his toughness is, so it would be 13 minus his toughness plus wounds, or on the critical damage.
Yeah, so
It's going to at least pass
not
out.
great.
Again.
So
Jesus.
with the up in arms critical tables, what you do is you add 10 to the roll for every wound dealt above their wound total. So he maxes out. So you did 13, you said, correct?
Yes.
Less his toughness would be 11. So he then is 10. That's 100. And what would you roll? You said a 17?
17, yeah.
Yeah, that's torn apart. So as you stab the knife down in, you rip something, and he just begins to basically bleed out. He's dead.
I was going to say,
That's more
it's,
fitting. And it's
actually,
more accurate.
Wolfhart's knife is one of those little Boy Scout Swiss Army knives.
Yeah.
As you, it's actually technically the critical is torn apart, like you rip the body in two. That doesn't happen here, but as you stab down and pull away, as the three of you walk closer and he says that, you watch Wolfhart do this. All of you are splattered in gore because you sliced an artery and it's just spurting everywhere.
I don't know. Well, I'm just going to take it out, wipe it on him, and just kick him away. No, go to walk back in.
I
guess
immediately
I'll stop at the
start
trough and
washing
kind of-
off in the trough.
Yeah.
Okay.
Rinse.
As you all are washing off in the trough, the window above the trough slams open, and a mean-looking face with dark blonde hair leans out and goes, "Make less noise. Why is he bleeding?"
Demon.
Did you not see the demon?
Good. Window slams shut.
Good. Well done.
Demon.
Oh, God.
Ernst is dead.
Say less.
I'm gonna.
We
Who has
grab
his
his
backpack? Because I want to make sure we bring that backpack with us.
Yeah.
I thought you took it, Wolfhart, because you kicked
Okay,
it
I just
and
wanna
you
make-
broke a file that you couldn't find, so it became soaked in a liquid.
And
Okay,
don't forget about the
I'm gonna just bring it, and once we go back to our rooms, I'm gonna search it.
the tinctures.
Okay.
I'm going to look for the tinctures as well as what else might be in the room, the backpack. Once we go back,
Probably what
Any of
got
us have
crushed.
any ability to identify what the tinctures are? Because we probably should have asked him. Because it might be drugs. I don't know.
Not me.
Wolfhart doesn't care.
I mean, drugs do be illegal.
They do be illegal. So as
Just
you
murdered a
four
man.
washed off, as
Yeah,
you
for
four
a
walk in,
good reason.
washed off, as the four of you walk back into the bar, Gustav and his barkeep are behind the bar just cleaning. Gunnar and Holtz are in the corner, but it's still in their table, beers in their hands, snoring in their chairs. The rest of the bar is empty except for Hairpin and Gustav. And Gustav looks up and goes, where's the mousy one?
Couldn't rouse him.
Hairpin,
Hey, Kyle.
go get the shovel.
Segemund, could you do me a favor?
Yeah, what's up?
You have paper, right?
I do, yes.
I'm going to request that you get me a small piece of paper and just write the word fear with a circle around it and then a little cross through it.
If you could put the words on the paper, I would appreciate it.
I don't see any problem doing that. What do you want it for? As I'm like pulling it out of my pouch.
Well,
I have dishonored my gods by being fearful when I was needed by my friends. So I wish to make a small sacrifice to Myrmidia.
Okay.
Oh.
I'll do as he asks and write the word fear and circle it and dash through it.
okay. If I get a second at some point during this time, I'm going to go outside. I'm going to dig a little hole, and I'm going to kind of cut my palm just a little and crumple that paper and soak it in blood.
Okay.
And then I'm going to bury it in the hole and cover it.
Done. Easily done.
Cool.
So are the four of you like making your way up to bed at this point to rest, or is there anything else you want to do in a fairly empty tavern? And as a note, the barkeep Hairpin is going to get a shovel to basically overnight the body of the man who didn't wake up.
I see no reason we
Respect.
need to help him. So I'm go back to the room.
Yeah.
right.
I'll help him.
Okay, so Luca,
I'll help him
it
dig.
makes sense because you're going out to
I
dig a
will
hole to
not.
bury your piece of paper. So Luca,
You don't want
as
to
you
get
head
your
out,
fancy clothes dirty, Kroppa. You'll have to eat another meal.
He's looking for his third bowl of stew.
so Luca, as you-
Countryside
calorie
cannot
expenditure.
endure.
we need a metric counter in the WFRP. Like normally, there's a kill counter that Kroppa's calorie
How many
counter.
calories is this going to cost me?
Oh yeah.
So, as the three of you head up to the room, Wolfhart, as you check over the bag, you would find within, well, no book, but you'd find at this point 2 unmarked tincture files. And you would also find about 4 silver is all. Oh, I'm sorry, I said 2. There's 5 files of liquid. All of them are kind of greenish liquids, and alongside of it is a couple pouches of like weird chemical powders. And 5 silver. I said 4
5
silver,
silver.
5 silver.
Okay. 5 silver.
Helps if I look at the right person's stuff.
Well, I'm just going to basically keep the backpack as like my own now. I now have a backpack. So
Yeah, it's like a shoulder bag. So yeah, you do.
it's still big. So a backpack bag, whatever. And then I will give each of the party a silver.
Okay.
Ooh.
So
Okay.
Luca, as you head out, piece of paper in hand, kind of cut your hand, rub it in blood, get ready to bury it. You see his hairpin is kind of standing, looking over the body of the guy, leaning on his shovel. He looks to you, he goes, "So he didn't wake up, huh?"
It seems his wounds were more extensive than we had thought.
Fair enough. Kind of hawks and spits on him, and he goes, "Ulrich hates these folk anyway."
Yes. We will still send him to more as he should.
The hell we will. Takes the shovel and through the neck.
I'll just look up at him and
Fair enough.
Let him rot on the plains outside the gates. And he kind of takes a tarp and he's like wrapping him up in the tarp. He's not burying him. He goes, "We'll leave this one for the wardens. We're not burying him on this soil." You
I
guys
actually
did,
don't disagree with that. Don't poison the soil here.
yeah, you did what I would have done. So, whatever Gustav might think.
Yes, when we tried to rouse him. Exactly. As you
Yeah.
would have done.
Yeah. We'll just
Trough water. Very
leave
dangerous.
this one our way, huh? He kind of looks at the trough water that's a little bloody and he goes, "We'll fix that too."
Is he the one that shot the demon?
No, that's Gustav, the bar owner.
Okay.
This was the barkeep who got a little bit afraid and ran the other way.
Yeah,
Fair enough. I did the same shit.
I'll say both you guys did.
Yeah, Gustav is the only one who passed his fear test, and thank God he did, because he had the blunderbuss.
You did a lot
Well,
of
I passed
damage
it as well.
Oh, I meant from the NPCs.
Oh, okay.
Excuse me, from the NPCs. So that's the state of this. He kind of has the body bundled up and is just kind of pulling it out to leave it. You would know at coaching inns, there's like a little space where if people pass away, they kind of hold the body to eventually be taken by a priest of Moor, or in this case, they're going to hand the body over to the Wardens. So with that, Luca, you make your way back in. The four of you manage to settle in for a rest. And as the night rises, Moorsleep, the good moon. That's
Okay.
Oh no,
okay.
Moorsleep is Mansleep, the good moon, not Moorsleep. Moorsleep is right
I was gonna
there.
say no, it's not.
Moorsleep is right there. No, Moorsleep is the good moon as a GM, but Moorsleep is not present. Mansleep
Okay.
rises high, and as we walk away from tonight, you all settle in for a rest. When we come back, you will have regenerated any fortune that you've used. I gotta get back into the WFRP flow of fortune and fate, not just fate. So you will regenerate any fortune that you've used, less obviously up to your fate maximum. If any of you have wounds, which I don't think any of you do because it attacked Philippe, you would be able to regenerate some of those overnight.
Unless you consider me cutting my hand a wound, which
No.
I wouldn't be upset about.
I'm going to call that
Okay.
nominal. I mean, I assumed you'd take one wound, but you're healing yourself. You're resting overnight.
Okay.
Beyond that, sprinkles of Sigmar, all the fun. Each of you are going to gain 10 experience. You are correct in that by killing Ernst, you do not get bonus experience.
Oh well.
I was laughing that you sussed that out. I'm like, yeah, that was a pretty good guess. If you'd handed him over to the road wardens, there was a little bit extra. But
It's worth
okay.
it to get our first kill under the belt.
You know what? So far, you've killed a daemon and a person
You mean
who...
Wolfhart has killed a demon?
I've killed both of them.
That's
person.
I'm
Yeah.
currently
Is
bloodlust.
Wolfhart the murder hobo?
He's the only
And the
combat
thief.
class that we have.
I'm not a combat class, not at all.
My
of you are
hands
combat
were
class.
full.
I mean, the closest, right? I mean,
This man has broken
I'm a
like
nerd.
6 laws since we've started. He's a freaking prowler, a murderer.
I'm trying to
Slow the
speedrun all
fuck
the
down.
laws.
That man has done nothing wrong.
I didn't
Oh
say it
my
was
God.
wrong. I said it was illegal. So,
So thank you. I need to finally get back in the flow of a proper outro. I was so excited to play the last few episodes. Let's get this right. Thank you so much for joining us. If you like what you heard, head on over to our website at deadsonsco.com, where you can find access to the Tainted Hive Season 1, the Tainted Hive Season 2, where we play through Warhammer 40k Imperium Maledictum. We also have our Daggerheart open playthrough. Eventually, we'll have some things from Mothership up there. All of this, all of the fun, reviews galore, and a bio of all of our lovely people that participate in Dead Sons Company. In addition, thank you to the gentlemen over at Dark Forge Media for creating our intro video and sponsoring this season of the show. And last but not least, if you really like what you heard, you should like the video, subscribe to our YouTube, and head over to patreon.com/Dead Sons Company, because coffee is expensive these days. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next time.